Hi there, Rabbi. Like that shirt.
Well, thank you, Joe. I'm once again in my art studio.
Well, art, as we know, is always trying to reflect the contemporary mores and educate the public on society in general and its ills and good values as well. And today, we always are hearing about people saying, what's wrong with the country? What's wrong with society? What's wrong with kids? What's wrong with adults? What's wrong with business? What's wrong with this? What's wrong with that? You recently came across an article that shed some light onto a perspective on this subject.
Yes, one of our American Catholic bishops wrote a short piece, and I believe he was spot on. Of course, we both know that when someone says something you agree with, you always say that they're spot on. So that's a good starting point. And since you mentioned, everyone lists what's wrong with us, and it's because of, and you can fill in the blank depending on one's beliefs and orientation. Our society is collapsing because of, and you can fill in this whole list of usual suspects. And he lists them quickly and said, they're symptoms. The problem is, as a people, as a country, and as individuals, we refuse to recognize a higher power. And he points that out and says that AA uses the concept of a higher power, which means something outside of myself is in charge. And Rabbi Abraham Heschel said it very, very nicely. God exists. I see God. And one thing I'm sure, it's not me. And that again was a quote in the article. And of course, we have the first commandment: you shall have no other gods besides me. And we're not talking about a biblical God. We're not talking about one concept, my concept, but not yours. What we're talking about is what AA talks about: a higher power. There's something outside of myself that's involved in the universe, whether we call it Adonai, whether we call it Allah, whether we call it God, whatever name we use. What we want to understand, what we need to recognize, is that I am saying that I'm not the sum total of the universe. Look, Joe, the universe was here before I was born, and I assume it'll be here after I die because I've seen other people die and the universe is still here. So I think it's a good assumption that I am not the sum total of the universe. Now, it's up to each of us to find out what that means. And here's the danger: we have to be careful not to believe that my view of God, my understanding, is the only acceptable one and everyone else is wrong, because then that goes on the list of symptoms and you're making another problem. We can easily solve this by acknowledging that I believe in a power outside myself. And I'm going to use the word God, higher power, and it's not me.
But as you point out, other people have different perspectives on that higher power. And that is where a lot of the conflict in the world comes from.
The problem isn't the belief. The problem is, I want you to believe what I believe. I want you to change your behavior. That's where the problem lies, not in God, not in a higher power. It lies in the individual who is so arrogant as to believe that they have the truth, everyone else is wrong, and if you don't believe me, I'm going to kill you, or I'm going to take your rights away until you accept my belief.
I can accept the idea that we can try and find a common ground, but it's sometimes tricky when the other person is chasing you around with a baseball bat saying, believe what I believe.
And we can look and see that's what's tearing our society apart, Joe. So we can see that it's not working. And other times in world history, when religions tried to dominate, it always had a bad outcome.
It seems to me a little bit like you're just saying we need to do better, but you're not telling us how to do better. Give us some rabbinical wisdom here.
Love is the greatest of all commandments. Love your neighbor as you love yourself. Do unto others as you would have others do unto you. That which is hateful to you, do not do to others. It's all there. It's a matter of putting that into practice.
Thank you very much, Rabbi. As always, your wisdom is helpful and enlightening. The next time somebody is chasing me with a baseball bat, explaining to me why my religion is wrong and his view of religion is right, I will do my best to stand and turn around and talk to him while he's hitting me over the head.
Turning the other cheek does not always work when we're dealing with someone who's out to get us, to kill us, to destroy us. We must always defend ourselves with the least amount of force we need to defend ourselves, and remind everyone that every society that has collapsed and disappeared turned on itself and attacked its own citizens. And any civilization or teaching that has lasted has accepted very many different views and respected each of its members.